And
hello and welcome to Gypsy Kiss. It's Humpday, Hoedown, and I'm Shelley Carney.
And I'm Toby Eunice. Thanks for joining us tonight. We have a lot of things to get done. We've got some housekeeping, of course, but we've got some giveaways. We're going to show you some of the souvenirs that we brought back to give away to you guys over our next several shows. We do have some emails to read, but I'd like to open up the phone lines as quickly as possible because I know you guys have a lot of questions about the video that I made yesterday. So I'd like to answer some of those questions, but we'll get to them eventually, I'm sure.
Can we just go to the cameras?
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Julie. Huh? Julie. Guess what day it is? Julie. Huh? Julie. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Come on, I know you can hear me. Anybody? Huh? Mike. What day is it, Mike? Anybody? Julie. Huh? Julie. Hey, guess what day it is? Julie. Come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Let's guess what today is.
It's Humpday.
Dia de los Humpos.
See.
As I practice my Spanish pronunciation.
Hey guys. Madness.
Thanks. I hope you missed us as much as we missed you. We had a great vacation. That's the other thing that we want to do tonight. We've got some pictures that we're going to share with you, a little bit of our vacation, tell you some stories, that kind of stuff. How are we doing on Facebook?
How about share it? I'm going to share it.
So Shelley is wearing her official Yellowstone National Park T-shirt, and if you want to see what it says on the T-shirt, it's in the crawl overhead.
I don't normally wear T-shirts, but this one's special.
She's not a T-shirt person, right? So I can't tell you we had a great time, and we'll tell you more about it in just a minute. But first, let's do a little bit of...
Housekeeping, you want towel? Housekeeping, you want towel?
Is there a little clunk in there? Did you hear that? Because, dang nabbit, you need towels.
Towels time.
First of all, remember to share our video. That's not right. Is that right? Oh, no. Remember to, I'm just back. We've been on vacation for 2 weeks.
Right.
Remember to like our video. YouTube likes it when you like our video. And from what I understand, the Montana Department of Game, Fish, and Parks likes our videos as well. Share our video with your family, your friends, your neighbors, your business associates, and the entirety of your social networks so that we can
grow the channel.
Because we want to grow this channel. As a matter of fact, we were getting close to, I don't know where we are right now, but we were almost at 5,500 subscribers a few minutes ago. I don't know where we are now. I'll check later. And then last,
so vague
if
nowadays.
you are not already a subscriber, please become a subscriber by clicking on the button. And then as soon as you see the notifications bell pop up, click on the notifications bell. And that way, when we start a live stream or we schedule a live stream, you will be immediately informed. And
in the know.
Tony Rusi, that was directed at you. That's how you get that done. So that's housekeeping. What do we usually do after housekeeping?
You can look at Greg Keller and Illinois Ghost at Rick Plank. They have all demonstrated how to address us in the chat room with the @ a Gypsy's Kiss, and it turns orange so we can see it very easily. If you would like to have your very own, very special colored box with your comment or question in it, you can use that grayed out $. That's usually at the bottom of the screen. Where'd it go?
I don't know.
It's gone.
Why isn't it there? Can you guys see the $?
What happened to Super Chat?
Where's the super
Maybe you
chat?
can't do that.
Wait a minute. Let me close the window and start over again.
Oh no, it went away while we were gone.
Hold on. Let me pop it out again.
Anyway.
No, there it is. There it is.
Oh, there it is. Bottom of the chat, grayed out $. Click on that. Donate to Super Chat Challenge and get your beautiful comment in a beautiful box. and we will see it there. Or you may text us at 866-597-9901, and that's the phone number you'll be calling in just a short time from now when we open up the phone lines, and you can tell us all about Montana and what you like about it.
Because we like Montana. And if you stick around long enough, you may see some unappropriate... What?
Sunny 7 showed us how it's done.
Yeah.
Thank
she
you,
found
Sunny 7.
that stylized grayed out $sign. But I was going to say, if you stick around long enough, you may see some unappropriate touching.
Unappropriate touching?
Yeah, that's what the guy read.
Oh,
no. Apparently, I have some unappropriate touching problems.
Oh, boy.
Who knew? So, first things first, let us give away some stuff.
Giveaway.
So,
we have a giveaway?
We need one. That's close.
all, yeah.
Okay, so what we're giving away...
Applause.
So this is tonight's giveaway, and then what I'm going to show you is the giveaway for next week, and then what I'm going to show you is the giveaway for several weeks in the future. So we're just going to do giveaways, I think, on Wednesday. So this is the giveaway tonight, and this was a gift, a set of gifts. We have several of these. So we're going to give more of these away. So these were gifts from...
John Warner,
and his better half, Karen Warner, when they came by to visit. This
one
is
of our wonderful moderators.
Water bottle koozie, and this is a pen with their logo, and it has a flashlight on one end. There's a little clip on it right now, so it doesn't press down. And so we call this a nubbin, but somebody corrected me. It's a Stylus, yeah. So it has a stylus on the other end as well as the pen. And then...
Touch devices.
And then...
Rudy Green says you're finally in the right state.
I don't know. That might be... I'm just trying to throw people off from searching in New Mexico. And then this is their keychain USB thingy, which is really cool, by the way. So that's what we're giving away tonight. And the way that we do that is we use commentpicker.com, and commentpicker.com picks our winner. So I'm going to switch over to... Where am I going to switch over to?
Commentpicker.com.
I am going to switch
Thingy.
over. So let's see. I need the screenshot. And then that's our... So I'll go to commentpicker.com. Oh, wait. I got to go back and get the video.
The video?
Yeah, I've got I've got to get the video. So it was last... You
had to have commented on the video we put out 2 weeks ago.
Right. If you've commented on the video that we put out 2 weeks ago, I'm going to go
participate in this drawing for this.
And the same is going to be true. So to win next week's prize, you've got to comment on the video that we're producing tonight. And the comments in the chat room don't count. It has to be comments below the video.
Yep.
And here's how it works. So I'm going to go back to Creator Studio.
Because that's just how it
YouTube
works.
hasn't figured out that I hate the new Creator Studio. Hate it, I tell you.
Beta.
In beta. It's just horrendous.
Beta.
Okay, so that was this video. So we're going to get... Oh, look at that, 84 likes. Because YouTube likes someone, you like her. So we're going to get that YouTube video. We're going to copy that. And then we're going to go to comment picker. You can answer questions in the room while I'm doing this.
Oh, all righty. Let's see if I can find any.
Okay, so here's commentpicker.com. I don't know what that is over there.
Wayne Ross likes my shirt. It's not actually a sweatshirt, it's a t-shirt. But
keep an eye on the...
I do have a sweatshirt that I will wear soon when it gets cold enough.
Okay, so this is entered
That's
the
also
Facebook.
Yellowstone.
So we got to go across the top. We're on the Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. So we're going to go to the YouTube tools, YouTube random comment picker, and you'll see enter the YouTube video URL. So I'm going to put that in there. Okay. And I'm going to filter out duplicate users. That way, if you made multiple comments, although I don't think a lot of people did, it filters those out. And then filter comments based on specific text. No, we're not going to do that. So we're going to watch this. So what it does is, okay. Amount of unique commenters, 35. Not a big number, like a big possible to win. Okay, start raffle and pick random winner. So we're going to start that right there. picking, and it's looking through all the commenters on that video, and the winner is
Greg Keller.
What? Greg Keller? Look at you. Wait, didn't Greg Keller give us this? Oh no, that was John Warner.
That's right.
So Greg Keller, if you will send us
They
your
live in the same city. Maybe John Keller could just drive one over. I mean, John
That's
Warner
right.
could just
John
drive
Warner
over.
drive one over. So that's kind of cool because Greg Keller and John Warner live in the same city in New York. So Greg Keller, this is what you've won. Are you getting an echo?
Me?
Somebody's saying we're giving them an echo. Hold on. Hold on.
Rugs and
Toby said, John Warner says audio better now.
Oh, that's interesting.
Echo gone again.
You know what it is? They're playing a video over here.
Maybe that's
Okay.
it. Close that.
So I'm going to close this window. Greg Keller, you're our winner. Send me your address to gypsieskiss@gmail.com, and I will send you your winnings. Okay.
Woohoo.
So let's talk about what we did. So as you guys know, we were on vacation. We went through
Change the
all.
screen.
Pardon me.
Change the screen.
Okay. If you're getting an echo, tell me. Okay. So, and we have 2 more of these to give away later on, right? But, so as you guys know, we were on a vacation. You're going to see, I guess I could show them the pictures first. No. So we went on a vacation, and we went through all 4 treasure states and Yellowstone National Park. And while we were there, we picked up a number of souvenirs for ourselves. I bought a silver and turquoise belt buckle.
And we were given some things.
And we were given some things.
Like these earrings. See?
Heather Dawn? Is that what Heather Dawn gave you?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I forgot her rock. Heather Dawn gave me a wishing rock. Okay. So we got a bunch of souvenirs from our trip to give to you. We were at the Wyoming Whiskey
Distillery in Kirby, Wyoming.
Because I promised myself that I would buy myself a bottle of that whiskey. I was looking forward to buying, and I did. Indeed, I'll show you the one that I got. But this is a bourbon truffle roast coffee.
Now they're the beans. They're not the ground.
Right. So make sure that you have a
grinder.
You have to have a grinder. So we're going to give that away. Not tonight, but those are some of the things. And then I became a member while we were in Yellowstone. I joined Yellowstone Forever, which is a nonprofit organization of people who are interested in ensuring the integrity and longevity of the park. So I became a member, and they gave me a number of things. They gave me some discount cards, stuff like that. But one of the things they gave me was this cute little grizzly teddy bear, and it still has the Forever Yellowstone tag on it. So we're going to give that away as in comment picker. So that means. So I bought, this is a $15 map of Yellowstone. Oh, look, it's kind of chroma keying out. And I am neither searching in Yellowstone, and I already had a copy of this map. So we're going to give that. So if you're Alan K., if you're a Yellowstone searcher, here's your Yellowstone map. And then we got these. Now they look, these are Yellowstone memorial coins. And on the back, on the front, they have a buffalo and some other stuff. And on the back, they have a sticker that I can't read. What?
Just go and take it and show it closer.
Let me get this sticker off. So they look gold, but they didn't cost that much. So they're probably plated or polished brass. So, those are the Yellowstone waterfalls on the other side. So we're going to give away some of those. We've got 2 of them. And as I said, I've got some more of these things from John Warner. And then I bought 2 of these.
The backside.
We were at the Wyoming Dinosaur Museum in Thermopolis, and I bought a couple of these. And these are what do you call them? Fossils. And so I thought we'll give away, if you have any interest in fossils, we'll give away one of those. All right. So here's the deal.
And the keychain.
Oh, yeah. And then we were at the Florissant Fossil Museum near Florissant, Colorado, and I got a keychain. And it's a stainless steel and copper, and the copper needs to be polished. So I'll polish it, and then that shape is the bee fossilized bee that they use as their logo. And if you've never been there, you should, if you're on your way, it's about 25 miles off I-25 from Colorado Springs. And if you've never been there, I mean, it's one of those things that you go through and you go like, how did this, 34 million years ago, all this animal and plant life was trapped suddenly. And so they ended up flat and fossilized. I mean, it's an amazing place.
And they have a video you can watch about it.
They have a video.
And they have giant fossilized,
redwood.
Petrified redwood stumps.
That are probably, 20 feet in diameter? 15, 20 feet in diameter. They had a bunch of them, and unfortunately...
They have some pictures.
Okay, so here's the deal for next week. Got any questions?
Just how to win a prize.
Okay, so what you have to do to win a prize is, and I'll show you, I'm going to do a screenshot. So let's say we're doing tonight's video, just for the fun of it.
Because we are.
And let me see, we got to go find a video.
And those of you in the Facebook room, you need to go to the YouTube channel in order to comment if you want to take part in the drawing. In the drawing. So here's the video that I made last night. And I'm just going to open that up and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about.
Hey everybody, this is Toby Eunice with HK Media, and I wanted to...
that's an old video. That's not the one I wanted. Okay, hold on.
Well, you didn't put it in a playlist, so you got to go to videos.
Okay, so I need
video. I don't know how that beta works.
It's that new beta thing. It makes me crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
It's annoying.
Okay.
You're getting an echo again. Every time you open up new stuff, messes everything up.
Okay, hold on. All right, so...
Echo. It's messed up, man.
Let me just do this real quick and then I'll close it down. Okay. So this was... Oh, Jesus.
Rio de los Ecos.
So is the echo in and out or is it constant from when we started? Okay. So this is the video we did the day before we left. And as you can see, there's the chat room comments. They don't count. But below the video, we had 64 comments, right? All those comments. If you make one of those, if you make a comment, and it can be anything, you don't have to come in and be philosophical. You don't have to come in and say nice things about us. Don't come in and say bad things about us because then I'll just delete it. But see, there's one right there that says
Brad Creel said.
Pick me. Where is Greg Keller's? So Greg's in there someplace, but that's all you have to do. After tonight's show is over, give it a couple of...
Have a great and mind-expanding trip.
Yeah. So after tonight's show, it takes about 2 hours to process it. And then you can come back and make a comment. And you can put an asterisk. That's enough. It just has to be a comment below tonight's show. Okay? So... But if you have any questions, ask them now while we're still talking about it. So that's how you qualify for the prize. And then as you see, we'll use commentpicker.com to select the winner. Okay? So it's completely neutral. So here's what I'm going to do because I'm just happy that we had so much fun in our vacation. On our vacation, I got my liquor, I got my belt buckle, I got my hat, I got a baseball cap, a official Yellowstone baseball cap. I got everything on. The only bad thing that happened is for some reason or the other, I took several drone videos so that we could use for our outro. And I went to upload the file and the files are corrupted. I don't know what happened. That's sad. So I have to go back. So here are the prizes for next show. And what I'm going to do is you can win either the little Yellowstone teddy bear that Shelley really loves, by the way. She's hugged it a lot, so you're going to get a little bit of... It's in some of the
pictures, too.
Yeah, you're going to get a little bit of Shelley with that.
It's got some Yellowstone rain on it, too, because it rained that day.
So, or not both. This is a bear or one of the gold coins. So when you make your comment, let us know in the comment whether you want the bear or the gold coin. And then we'll give that one away, and then the week after we'll go to another gold coin, and some of that other stuff that we showed you. So we got a bunch of stuff that we're going to share with you. Now, one of the other things that happened is, as you guys know, on the 28th, Christy and Mike on Kyle Lazar's channel, it's a beautiful coin. I say it's gold in color, so it's a polished gold plate or a brass, but it has a lot of weight to it. It's a very, very cool coin. So I got 3 of them. I'm going to keep one for myself. So you got a choice of the bear or the gold coin, and when you make the comment, I'm going to strongly suggest you do one or the other. Otherwise, you leave it up to me to choose. And then Greg Keller, send me an email with your address so I can ship it. And then in a couple of weeks, after we go through all this stuff that we got in our travels, we'll go back. I have a couple more of these kits from John and Karen Warner to give away as well. And we'll come up with some other stuff. I got a bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What's next?
So, well, let me tell them about. So on the 28th, Christy and Mike of Cal Lazars and K-Pro are going to have a marathon. They've invited me and Shelly, if she's around, because Shelly's schedule is different on Saturdays, to join the marathon. So we're going to be on the marathon, on the Christy and K-Pro marathon, Christy and Mike marathon, from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. our traditional time. Okay, so you'll see us there. And as a kind of promo item, Christy and Mike are going to send me Silver Searcher 2019 coin number 32. And they said they would put that in the mail in the next day.
Maybe they should just hold on to it and mail it to whoever, because you're going to give it away anyway.
Well, no, I am. No, I want to give it. I want to have it, because here's what I'm going to do. On the Wednesday before marathon, I'm going to tell them, make a comment there. And then on the day we do the marathon, we'll give it away on the marathon. So Silver 2019 Searcher coin number 32, which is pretty low number. They're going to send that to us, and you can win that coin if you make a comment on, let's see, that's the 28th, 27th, 26th, 27th, 26th. So comment on the show that we do on the 25th. And you can win Silver Searcher coin number 32, and I'll make that, and I'll do it during that show. Okay, did that make sense? All right, let's just worry about this one. Okay, so this one, if you make a comment on tonight's show, after the show is done, it has to be a comment down below, because commentpicker.com doesn't know what to do with the comments that you're making right now. So don't even waste your energy making comments right now. Wait till the show is over.
You're welcome to comment in the chat room if you want to talk to each other.
Yeah, you can do that.
But it's not going to be included in the drawing.
Right. So to be included in the drawing, you have to make a comment below this video after YouTube has processed it. Okay, I think that's all the announcements. So let's do pictures, or do you want to say hi to the room first?
Quickly say hi to the room while you figure out pictures.
Okay. So, this is no brainer. I got it set up, brother. Maybe.
Oh. Well, let's say hello to our friends in the chat room. And
I'm going to see if there's any questions while you're doing that.
Many people.
Many people. We have many people from.
By. We have Jim Sisk, okay. Davio22, Mark Darling, Christine Kenzie, Karen Werner, K-Pro, Minotaur Moreno, Ob Ord.
Christine Kenzie's traveling back from Yellowstone to her home in, I think it's Illinois.
23 Minarca, AJ Rainbill, Greg Keller, who just won our prize tonight. Chroma Key, Da Bear will kill you. Rudy Green, Treasure Hunter, Don Davidson, Tony Rusi, Jack, Sakar, John Werner, Czar. Don't know that one. CMC, LR. A bunch of letters. Mark Darling. Helen's brother, it says.
Helen's brother?
I don't know what that means.
Don't we know a Mark Darling?
Mm-hmm. Unless it's Mary Darling's relative.
Doesn't she have a son?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess she has a son, but I don't know his name.
That's why it sounds familiar.
M.A. Hammock, Wayne Ross, Heidi H. We have James Bailey and the Sassy 1962. Are you seeing any questions?
No, I'm going through it right now. I'm just keeping
Evan Penn.
Lika Lee.
Yellowstone is good for bison tipping. I did not see one bison except for like the stuffed ones, the taxidermied ones. We saw a ton of taxidermied animals at the Safari Club.
Yeah.
And at that bar, the Buffalo Bar.
The Buffalo Bar.
But as for live animals, we saw a couple of elk, a couple of deer, and a squirrel, and some birds, and a trumpeter swan. That was pretty cool. We saw the trumpeter swan.
So Heather
That was
Dawn is in the
Pagosa.
room. She didn't get to see the earring you talked about. So do it again for her.
Thank you for the earrings, Heather Dawn. These are the ones that she gave me. They're sparkly. I can't wear them with my headset, but
We met up with
right here.
Heather Dawn and AJ when we were in Cody.
yeah. And I did wear them the
I
other
got
day.
pictures. I have pictures to prove it.
Zoe the cat, Virginia Mann, Rudy Green, West Guide TAS,
Joel Lewicki says, you have to comment Montana 100%.
Michael Hool,
Hey, Michael.
3D Bronze, BOTG Geo Ventures says, my first search area was Thermopolis. Thermopolis was wonderful. When we were in Lander 2 years ago, I saw a brochure for Thermopolis, and I wanted to go there. So this time we went there. It was very cool.
It was actually kind of hot.
We stayed at the Days Inn, and they have a hot tub pool that's they use the same hot springs water that they use at the public pool, and it smells like sulfur. We went down to the park, and we went to the Wind River Canyon, and so Thermopolis is a very cool place to visit. I recommend it. I don't recommend it the week that we went because everybody leaves who works there. Everybody leaves right after Labor Day. So a lot of the businesses were closed down,
Understaffed.
or reduced hours, or
Yeah.
understaffed, and there was just as many tourists as
As people in the town.
as
Yeah.
you would think that there would be, and yet there was a lot of missing workers, I guess you could say. So if you're going to go to Thermopolis, go before Labor Day, if you want good service, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's a really cool place to visit. I would recommend it. Oh, and we went to the dinosaur museum there, which was very cool. And that we didn't take the extra tour. They take you to a dig site if you want to add that on to your visit to the dinosaur museum. We didn't do it, but it looks really cool. So, recommendation for Thermopolis.
Yeah, we liked Thermopolis. Well, we liked every town in which we stayed.
Lika
Pagosa.
Lee says, I live right by fossil beds. It is cool. Yeah. That was in the Florissant area.
Yeah.
The fossil beds.
I would do that again.
It is beautiful there. Pine trees everywhere. It just
Did you
smells
get-
amazing.
Did you get John Laurel?
I did not.
John, thank you very much for your contribution. We appreciate it. We'll use it to buy more souvenirs the next time we're traveling.
We got Joe Sheeran. Sunny7 says, you got a lot of fun things, but all that shopping had to cut into your searching time.
Yeah, I did.
We weren't searching. We were
we didn't
scouting.
We didn't plan any searching. We did some researching, and that's how we came up. That's how you saw in the video that we made last night. LR, I didn't get a chance to fish for two reasons. Number one, it was cold
And raining. Oh, very cold.
and and Yellowstone was just crowded. We'll show you in the pictures.
Yeah. We have Heather Dawn in the room, of course. Sakar, Renegade, Merc 6,
Damn. Brad's in the room. He says, welcome back. Hi to Brad. Colorado. We had dinner. We visited with them
A lot
in
of fun in Pagosa Springs.
You'll see pictures.
We do want to go back. I want to go back. I don't know about anybody else. I want to go back. Hang out with Sarah. We have a good time. Wayne Ross. Oh, that was about the echo. Okay. Chatter. Somebody named Chatter. And
let me answer this from the Gitter 370Z. He says, have you ever come across any dangerous wild animals, wild boots on the ground? I'm 22 and been planning my first trip and wondering if you've had any experience. So I have been traveling in the Rocky Mountains, mostly in New Mexico and southern Colorado, since I was a little boy. And I have seen elk, I have seen deer, I have seen black bear, but from a distance. Lots of antelope. I've never seen mountain lion or sign of a mountain lion for all the times that I've been trimming. I've never had what I could call Joel Lewicki was on the show a couple of weeks ago, and he had effectively a bear closer than sighting, right?
Encounter.
Bear encounter. And we had that one gentleman on the show that had his bear encounter. I've never had anything like that the whole time.
Cynthia said she saw some bears. Didn't she?
Yeah. So you just follow the rules. They tell you over and over and over again in Yellowstone.
They even have a radio station you can listen to all about how to stay away from bears.
Yeah. Travel in groups, make noise, carry bear spray, etc., etc. Bears have never
and
attacked.
You can rent bear spray at Yellowstone if you're going there.
You can rent it.
Yeah.
And turn it back in. So
yeah.
If
you bring your own and you're flying and you don't want to take it with you, they have depositories where you can recycle it.
Don't go alone, and just
stay on the trails.
Stay on the trails, make noise, etc., etc. Capro says, "What about multiple comments? Does that help?" No, Capro. No. What it does, what do you call it? Commentpicker.com
eliminates duplicates.
The duplicates. It filters them out. So I don't know whether you noticed, we had like 60 comments, but only 35. Names. So
we had William Sparks, Joel Lewicki, Leka Lee, I said that, I think. Hot Rod Prospector from Washington State. You said Colorado, of course.
Jim Sisk asks, howdy from Oklahoma. Is there a free map site to get property lines? I've never found a free map site to get property lines. Jim, the tool that I use is onxmaps.com or onxmaps. It's a $99 a year subscription, and it has literally every line, be it all the government lines as well as all the personal property lines. That's the only one that I've ever seen, other than going to the plat office in whatever county you're working. But maybe there's somebody else that knows about an online source. I do not know. I am not aware of an online source. OnX Maps is the tool that I use most often, and I pay for the annual subscription.
And we have Lisa Lumen. Hello, welcome back. Thank you. Jeff Yellick.
So M.A. Hammock, I think it's Mark. He's in Bernalillo until Friday morning. Want to meet you all before we leave. So that's Mark. That may be possible. Oh, Friday. He's in.
Where?
He says he's in Bernalillo.
Oh.
We might be able to figure out something. So the problem is my daughter, Toby Renee, arrives tonight, and she'll be here through the weekend. Friday, of course, we have shows starting in the afternoon, so we could meet Friday morning, but he's leaving Friday morning. But not too early, because
he's got to take her to the event that she's going to.
So kind of give me your schedule for Thursday and Friday, and I'll see if I can figure out something.
We have World Famous Gamer. Cal Lazars will ship it tomorrow.
Oh, great. Thank you, Mike. So we will have the number 32 silver 2019 Searcher coin by the time we do the competition, by the time we announce it on Wednesday the 25th, and then we'll give it away on Wednesday the 28th using commentpicker.com.
We have Jin. I don't remember how to say the other part of the name.
I'd have to see it.
Here it is.
Jean Webia.
There you go.
Or Webia Jean. His first name is Jean.
Yes. That's why I went with Jean.
So DeBear says, I asked the most important question. Did you try the wheel, as in the cheese wheel?
Cheese wheel. We drove by and we waved at it.
And the problem was we stayed at the Shoshone Rose that night, and we had breakfast at the Shoshone Rose that morning. And by the time we passed through, as we were heading down through Lander, we had just had breakfast. So
yeah, I don't think they were open yet.
No, it was still pretty early when we went through.
We didn't hit the right hours. Denise Bagley's here. Okay, come on, stuck.
Greg Keller says, I had an entire herd run by my car on the street with their babies like they were cars using the road. I don't know which animal he was talking about. So
maybe it was bears.
I've got some pictures of you guys in West Yellowstone on your vacation, says Chroma Key.
Ooh.
Ew.
Interesting. Did we get Rudy Green, Treasure Hunter, $10?
No, we didn't.
Thank you. Let's get to your home of brown revelation, he says.
We did. I didn't say anything about a home of brown revelation.
Are we still echoing?
Let's see.
It's off and on, off and on, off and on. Chicken Hawk. We got, when are you going next summer? From Mark Darling.
Okay, so Robert Arrington says, go to the county. This is regarding the property maps. Go to the county you are searching, and they should have a GIS website, Geographic Information System website, which will give you the parcel data. If they don't, you can use tax maps. And then Greg Keller says, he's talking about bison. The video is on his Facebook page. So yeah, we saw a lot of antelope, all up and down. We traveled about 2,400 miles. So there were antelope everywhere. They must have known they were, because they were right by the fence. They'd look at us like, hey, it's not antelope season. So, but then by the time we were getting back, hunting season was opening in southern Colorado and New Mexico. So there was a bunch of California and Texas license plates with their trailers going to their respective hunts. So
we have Admin Ghost Dance Radio. Welcome back. James Bailey. State of Montana has a free property line map site.
So last echo was when talking about bear
Be the
spray.
change you want to see. Met two guys in Montana last weekend who had just spent 3 days hiking 40 miles in the Gallatin National Forest. They never saw a bear. Hello from East Washington. Tony Rissy's here.
Desktop audio is on.
Robert Arrington. Go to the county that you are searching, and they have a GIS website which will give you parcel data.
Okay, so tell me if you guys can hear us, because I just turned off the output. So that should make the echo go away. Either that or you can't hear us at all. Wildcatter's daughter says, hello, AGK. So give me a heads up. Is it good?
So
yes,
Michael
okay.
Hull wants to know from Joel Lewicki, does this mean you're back or just hiatus interruptus? I wasn't going to say anything.
So I'm sure Joel has some questions because he said he had so many questions. I think what we ought to do is maybe the night of the marathon, that evening of the marathon, just have Joel come on and do an interrogation, make sure all the questions are
That would
answered.
be interesting.
Yeah.
Hot seat for Toby.
Although I don't understand what's so interesting about us looking in Montana. That's all we're doing. We're just looking.
Jungle Cruiser, Zoe the Cat.
We're just looking. All right, you guys ready
We're
for
at
some pictures?
Nigox.
You ready for pictures? You caught up?
Do Chicken Hawk. Good. Todd Lucci.
What's that question there?
Wildcatter's daughter.
Oh, okay.
Da. James Bailey can hear us.
A little quiet.
Steve Klein.
A little quiet. I gotta
James
turn this audio.
Casey.
A little quiet. Oh, God, we are a little quiet.
Okay.
Check. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Now
Talk
that
to me.
we've gotten everything out of the way, let's talk
Pictures.
Montana. Oh, pictures.
You want to talk pictures?
Yeah, let's do
All right.
pictures.
Let's do pictures.
People like pictures.
Pictures. Okay, so screenshot. All right. So I'll let you
Sassafras CMT.
narrate, and then I'll follow up.
All right. So this is the Visitor Center in Pagosa Springs, right next to where you can go bathing in the hot springs. And as you can see, they have information and maps and restrooms there.
So Pagosa Springs was our first night stop.
Yep.
Oops, I got to be over here to
And
do
we
that.
met some people there, Sarah and Brad. That's the river that runs by the hot springs. It's very pretty there.
Oh, what is that river? Does anybody know what river runs through Pagosa Springs? I didn't think to ask.
And look at this beautiful picture. And then it rained like half an hour later, like rained really hard.
Yeah.
Next. There we are in the hot tub. That's me with the hat. And also
There's Brad.
Brad has a hat.
Brad
Colorado.
That's him.
And that's the springs next to the visitor center. It's
And that's-
really a neat place.
and
They have
that's
all
Sarah.
kinds of pools, different temperatures, and you can choose which pool you want to be in, or you want the quiet one, or you want the 101 temp degrees, or you want the one with the waterfall. And it's a very cool place. A lot of fun.
So that's just another view. We have a couple of other views. And you can see the rains coming in on the mountains right here. They came in
We had to
from
get
that
in and out
direction.
of the hot tub a few times because there was lightning
Lightning,
in the area.
yeah. So that's the crew right there. That's Kevin,
Mineral Hot
Shelley,
Springs.
Sarah, and Brad right there.
Yeah.
So they were. I was on the bridge. So I was on that bridge right there,
Yeah.
taking that picture
That's
right there.
right.
Official photographer.
Yeah. That's just where the water comes out, I guess, right?
That's one of the hot water springs.
Yeah.
And it's shaped. It's got a volcano shape, and of course, all these not chemicals.
Buildup of minerals there.
Minerals are built up. But it's a beautiful spot, and they've done a great job. Of turning it into the warm springs, and with showers and everything you need. Food, restaurant.
cool.
There's restaurants there. You can order drinks while you're there.
San Juan River, says Charles Chapman.
Oh, it is a San Juan? Wow.
That's what he says.
Dang. Well, later on, that river becomes Blue Ribbon Waters. Okay, and this
is
was
behind our hotel.
yeah.
It's kind of the golf course, isn't it?
The
part of
golf
the
course
golf
is on
course?
the other side. Yeah, you can't see it from this shot, but
And this trumpeter swan wanted to say hello to us.
so I got a picture. I don't know if I didn't. So I didn't include it, but Shelley has a picture, and so I should explain
It
to you.
just came up out of the water and looked at us like, what's going on? Where's
Yeah.
my food?
Yeah. So what was interesting about this particular, when I collected all the pictures that we shot on this trip, there was over 600 pictures between Shelley, Kevin, and I. Our cell phones as well as my cameras. And so I started sorting them yesterday and realized I was never going to get all of them out. So here's what I've done. I've taken the 60 that kind of explain our trip, and then the rest of them are literally still in sort. Delete, sort, edit, etc. But once that album is complete, I'll upload it to a Gypsy Kiss Facebook page so you guys can see all of the photos, because I have a funny feeling there's going to be about 200 of them. So this is what I thought were the 60 that best expressed. So this, as Shelley said, this was the view from our hotel the first night in
Yeah, we went out the
Pagosa
back
Springs.
door.
Yeah.
There we are at the Dinosaur Museum in Thermopolis.
So the following day was the long drive, right? From
Sunday.
Pagosa Springs to Thermopolis.
Yeah, we don't. The only one we took basically was at night when we saw the deer eating out of the bird feeder.
Yeah. So I don't know if I got any of those in there, but a lot of those photos, for those of you that follow us on Instagram and also the community blog, and a lot of the photos that I didn't include here are included there. So, by the way, this is an amazing museum in Thermopolis. It's the Wyoming Dinosaur Museum. It's all about paleontology of the dinosaur era. If you, as Shelley said earlier, if you want to go, they can take you out to their dig site, and they've done an amazing job. The building doesn't look like much. As you can see,
It's just a warehouse.
it's basically a big warehouse, but once you're inside, it is amazingly informative and interesting. Toby just got on an airplane.
Oh, okay.
So lots of fossils, and these fossils date back before the Florissant fossil beds period. So they get a lot of the animal life that was fossilized during that, I think, 60 million years or 130.
But
So-
not everything was from Wyoming. They had also some other fossils and other things in from other countries. But some of their really big stuff was from the Wyoming area. So that was really cool. They even had one that was from New Mexico.
Brad, what was the very sad story about our swan? Brad says there's a
came
very
out
sad
and said
story
hello
about
to us.
that
Where's my
particular.
food?
Yeah, I mean, he was very friendly. He or she, I don't know. I can't tell the difference with swans.
Yeah, we were afraid it was going to be like a goose and try to attack us.
But
nope.
it was big and it was
Wanted
so
his picture
friendly.
taken.
It was really friendly.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to take a couple of shots inside the museum to see how well it's very well appointed. And you know what? We were in several museums during our trip, and every one of them, whatever the topic was, every one of them was beautifully appointed and had, a credible amount of investment. You can tell that these people cared about each one of the locations that we saw.
Really?
Okay, sorry.
What have I said?
So I was fascinated with these dinosaurs that were precursors to the birds. This was a little tiny thing, and it was pterodactyl-like. It was shaped like a pterodactyl, but look at those teeth, man, huh? That was one mean little tiny bird. You wouldn't want to run into that. There was a couple of those too. So this was a dinosaur that during its life was about 2 feet tall, but they used to run in packs and they would attack. They were meat eaters. You can tell by their teeth. So they'd run in packs and they'd pick on the bigger dinosaurs to bring them down and eat them. So this is the whiskey shop. You know what? These are not edited because they're crooked and the light's not right. But anyway, so this is at the whiskey shop, which is in a town.
Kirby,
Hit it.
Wyoming, which is just outside of Thermopolis, a few miles. Small town, has 93 people living there. The 2 restaurants they had were closed down for sale. And
Smiles.
so we thought we would visit to see what their whiskey was like and support the local economy.
Oh, okay. So Colorado, and Sarah's in the Facebook page, and she said the mate was killed. This is the swan's mate. The mate was killed on the highway a few years ago. The swan comes back every year.
Aw.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that story with us, guys. I'm glad we got a picture of him. We got more than one. Shelley got one. I mean, he or she, came out of the water and was kind of walking towards Shelley. And I said, step back. He's looking aggressive. And he kind of looked at Shelley like,
He just stretched his neck way out.
why are
like,
you? It was a beautiful
what's
swan.
going on?
Their bill is black, and so are their feet, jet black. And then the white, a beautiful swan. And we didn't know that. I'll show you a picture later. I wasn't sure. Like, I don't recognize this creature. I know it's kind of a swan, but Sassy says swans made for life.
I guess so.
So where was this?
This is in Kirby. We already talked about this.
Oh, okay.
Kirby, Wyoming. They make whiskey there.
And they had this wonderful selection. And I'm not
Wyoming whiskey.
I'm not an alcoholic.
You
but
can buy Wyoming whiskey at other places,
Yeah.
other stores, but a lot of these were reserve, small batch.
The ones that they were selling there. So I ended up getting the double cask right
yeah.
there. And then I decided I didn't have a good set of whiskey glasses, specifically whiskey. I've got wine glasses. I've got champagne glasses. I've got margarita glasses. But I didn't have some whiskey glasses, so I bought a set of 4 of these whiskey glasses right
3D
there.
bronze. We talked about making a restaurant, but Toby's so retired now.
Yeah, we have some ideas for restaurants.
Yeah.
But I am so retarded.
Retired.
I said retired, not retarded. So strongly recommend that if you go there, and if you are a fan, if you're a fan of sipping whiskey, this is, I bought a bottle. Do I have it here?
No, I'll put it in the cupboard.
Oh, okay. And it's a damned good whiskey. And that's the distillery from afar.
Yes. And that is the view from the, there's a pull-out where you can view all of Thermopolis. This is the Thermopolis Park. It's a state park where they have the hot springs, and that building over there with the copper top, is that the public?
Public.
Pool?
Well, there's
Public.
2 different public baths. One is the rectangular one, and one is the copper one.
because we didn't go in there because our hotel had one, so we didn't bother this time.
The hotel's hot tub was actually a hot spring. I mean,
Yeah,
it was
the
very
same
cool.
water as they said.
Yeah.
It's the same water as across the street.
So, and then that river is not the Great Bull. It's the one that
Bighorn?
changes. Bighorn River. Beautiful fishing river. Beautiful fishing river. If you did nothing else but go fishing, if you weren't a fan of all the hot waters that are coming, all the hot waters that are coming there, the fishing right there. We went down to this parking lot because I was going to launch a drone
And
to
there's
get a
a
shot.
boat ramp there.
There's a boat ramp, and the problem was it's restricted, so my drone wouldn't launch.
Yeah.
DJI beats me up again. Your shot.
So above my head it says world's largest mineral hot spring.
So they made
got a
in the
big arrow that points down. And that's just me taking a picture.
So
of it.
you can see the country is kind of mixed. Some of this, it reminds me, this area reminds me of New Mexico without the water, because that's kind of what it was. And this is, of course, still in Thermopolis before we headed towards Cody, Wyoming. There's the couple, the handsome couple. Mm-hmm. And there's just steaming hot water streaming off those minerals into the background. So, like, if you had a Thermopolis solution, this is where your warm waters would halt.
Just keep going.
Okay.
We have some video of this too, so maybe we'll use that one of our
In one of our outros, yeah.
There's the Wind River Canyon. The Bighorn River? Is that the Bighorn River?
No, it's the Wind River.
Okay.
And then at the Wedding of the Waters, remember that solution our friend told us? They meet at the Wedding of the Waters, and that's where it changes the name from the
Right.
Wind River into the Bighorn. So
There's
this
Kevin
is
on a rock.
Kevin trying to get the shot, man, out there on that rocky cliff, out there trying to get the shot. So we did go.
Yeah, we stopped in Meeteetse for gas, and it was funny
Snacks.
because they had all these shirts and hats and everything with the black-footed ferret on it because they became endangered, and there was a program in Meeteetse to reinvigorate the population of the black-footed ferret. So they're well known for that. So they had a lot of that stuff in their little gift shop, which was really just a gas station.
Yeah. There was a
Convenience store
museum,
kind of place.
Meeteetse Historical Museum, but it was closed. We didn't get to go in. I wanted to go in and see if I could find the Conquistador.
Yeah. So that was Tuesday. We went to Cody and went to the Buffalo Bill Center of the West Museum, which is like 5 small museums all together in one. Had a lot of different things from the West, the Wild West, frontier, Plains Indians, all kinds of stuff in there.
So Sarah's asking, how's my knee? Better than it was that day, but not completely healed. I have a funny feeling it's going to take a couple of months to heal completely. But I'm at the stage where I'm not wearing my brace anymore, Sarah. Thank you for asking. Brian Eagle says, quit barking on my Meeteetse.
This guy says, Donnie's Sandwich Falls says the black-footed ferret male is called a hob.
Oh, a Homer Brown. So this is another one of those well-appointed. These guys have invested a lot of money in this museum, and like Shelley said, it's basically 5 different museums. You cannot do it justice in one day. It's a 3 or 4 day museum. So we just went through and went through all the various. We went through. Let's see. We didn't go through the art part. We did go through the Buffalo Bill Cody part and the natural history.
Right, and the Plains Indians.
And the Plains Indians. And Shelley did raptors.
I looked at the raptors.
And I did guns.
Yeah.
So.
And we both went to the Sharp Cabin.
Oh, we did. We're going to show you that in just a second. So that's a grizzly bear paw in comparison to Shelley's beautiful hand. And that's a grizzly bear's skull in comparison to her hand. So you can see if those teeth chomp onto you. The guy told me the muscle power in foot-pounds of a bear's jaw. And they can basically chomp you in two if they decide they get the right bite. Okay, so this is the Joseph Henry Sharp cabin that, let me see if I got a close-up. Cabin was donated by Mr. and Mrs. Forrest Fenn and moved to this garden site where it has been restored as an example of the artist's creative environment. What I thought was interesting is the restoration was funded by donations from Mr. and Mrs. Joseph F. Sample, Mr. Thomas J. Watson Jr., and IBM Corporation. Thomas J. Watson Jr. is the founder, the son of the founder of the IBM Corporation. So, they both contributed. And then it's in a beautiful location. It's right in the center of the museum. And it's beautifully restored, beautifully placed. Once you go in, you can't actually touch anything because it's all encased. There's basically a glass wall between you and the rest of the cabin. But that's the one that Fenn donated to the Cody Museum.
Yes, and that's the one he wrote the book about, just the art.
Right.
Art book.
The artist, Joseph Henry Sharp.
Joseph Henry Sharp.
He actually wrote 2 of them about Sharp, didn't he?
I don't know.
Yeah. So I'm only going to go through this. So I'm not a gun nut, but I love the history of weaponry. I am a gun owner, and I love the history of weaponry. And this museum, if you were one of those people that wanted to write a book on the weaponry of a particular period or the transition of weaponry throughout the history, these guys, I've been to the gun collection at the Smithsonian Museum. I don't think it's this good. I think this literally is one of the best gun collections I have ever seen. And again, as you can see, it's well appointed and just beautifully laid out. And they have them categorized in a variety of different ways. But I could spend days just in this, just because, like I said, I'm not a gun nut. I'm fascinated with the history of weaponry.
Sarah says she's craving a Colorado whiskey sour with Shelley Kearney.
Oh, hey, I've got the you guys.
Colorado
maybe
whiskey sour is.
I'll send the I'll send the Wyoming whiskey up with Shelley next time she goes up. This is just the lobby entrance to the museum, and then it divides up into the different sections. Oh, rats! I don't know. I didn't want to include. I didn't need to. So this.
Are you sure this isn't just all your pictures?
It is. They are all my pictures.
I know, but I mean, just all 600.
Oh no. But I did want to point out they were giving this. This was a giveaway. They were giving away a fully restored a fully restored 1964 Corvette with a hard top, and
it's almost 8:00. We haven't gone to calls yet.
All right. I got I bought a couple of the tickets, and then I bought a couple of tickets for this squash blossom. Actually, I bought them. Shelley's very lucky at these things, so I had her to fill out these tickets for the squash blossom because I think if I win it, she's going to get it anyway. So here's our picture with we were at the Cody Hotel, and Heather Dawn and her husband AJ came over to visit us. So we sat for a long time and talked, and then we got our little shot before they got away. Go.
That's the day we went through Yellowstone. Every now and then it would stop raining for a minute and we'd take a picture. This is the general store at the Fishing Bridge. We did all of our souvenir shopping there.
Fishing Bridge was opened in 1937 and closed to fishing in 1973 because they were cutting the population of the cutthroat trout. So, but that Fishing Bridge is where Fenn was. So here's what we think about Yellowstone. I don't see how anybody could sneakily hide a treasure in a place like Yellowstone. We were there after the season. We were there on a rainy day. Every place we went was crowded. And I spoke to one of the rangers.
And we ran into people who knew us.
Yeah, that's how crowded it was. I spoke to a ranger who said at the moment there are between 150 to 200 scientific research projects going on in Yellowstone all over the park. So even if they're not in the center of the viewing for Old Faithful, they're all over the park. I don't see how you could hide it. My guess is that Fenn's treasure will one day be found by a Chinese visitor, a visitor from China who's lost and taking a selfie, and the chest is going to be behind him.
No, it's not a mega hat. It's a Yellowstone hat.
That's what?
Your Yellowstone hat.
Mega.
It's a Yellowstone hat.
I don't think so.
Then we had lunch there at the general store. They had a little restaurant. I had bison elk burger,
And what did
Kevin
Kevin have?
had what was it called? Oh, it was called Serve-A-Lot.
Serve-A-Lot.
But it was served like a hot dog,
Yeah.
and it was also made out of bison, I believe.
So this is that thing that told the
It's the
story
only
of Fish
bison
and
we
Bread.
saw was on our plate.
So this is the Yellowstone Visitor Center. It is much smaller than the general store. There's no sales. And this is where I registered to become a member of Yellowstone Forever. And that's where I got the teddy bear. And that's where we found out that the thing that was coming to visit us at our hotel in Pagosa Springs was a trumpeter swan. As you can see, black beak,
It had that
black
really
legs.
long neck.
Yeah. So I think, so this is outside the visitor center.
I look pregnant. It's a
And
big
this
old
is-
sweatshirt on me.
And this is
'Cause it's
outside
raining.
the visitor center. Oh, hey, so that's the belt buckle I bought. Let me see if I can show you. I got this belt buckle. Wait, where's my... Where? I lost my... Oh, this is a bad time for it to kick out. Hold on. My mouse died. Okay, there we go. I got this really nice belt buckle. See? It's silver and turquoise, and it was made by Blvd, who's actually a silversmith from New Mexico. How cool is that?
Huh.
And
You
about
have
it
to go all
at
the way
the
there to get it.
Buffalo Bill Cody Museum. Information Center. I'm going to go through these just a little bit faster so we can...
So cool. There's the Old Faithful.
We missed Old Faithful by...
Well, it's
by
kind of still going off.
this much. And it would have been 66 minutes for the next one, so we actually couldn't wait. There's my cursory picture in front of Old Faithful. Okay, so you know how Fenn is always saying, whenever he has guests, he says something like, hey, did you see that webcam that has Old Faithful in the background? That's the webcam. That's the Old Faithful webcam that Fenn's always talking about.
There it is.
There it is. Got the webcam. Took a picture. I couldn't remember. This guy is riding his bicycle from Alaska to Argentina. That doesn't seem like a lot of equipment, but apparently he has this figured out. I was just amazed, So this is where
That's the runoff from the prison pool.
Prison Pool goes into the Firehole River.
Yeah.
So we couldn't see any of the colors that were associated with any of these because it was so cold. All the hot
Very
water
steamy.
was producing steam. We couldn't see
Lots of
anything.
steam.
So that's looking down from Prism down the Firehole River. That's the beautiful Firehole River. They have nothing but beautiful rivers here. And you can see the crowds behind us, even on a rainy day and after the season. So it's just, and it was like that every place. There were no places where there were not people. So for those of you that have always wondered, this is Madison Junction. This is where the Firehole meets the Gibbon and turns into the Madison. And it's a wide open valley. I guess you could call it a canyon down, but it's a beautiful wide open valley.
And there's like a little
Cabin.
it wasn't a cabin. It was like a community center for the
Scouts. Rangers.
campground.
Oh, campground. So these were a pair of searchers who literally recognized my truck, my little red Nissan, followed us into the parking lot for Madison Junction and came up and introduced themselves. Their name are Cyril, the French name, he said it in French, and Laurence. And it's a girl's name. It's the girl's version of Lawrence. And they're from the Brittany region of France, and they recognized my truck because I've had it in other pictures. Go ahead.
3D sees the trash.
Yeah, it's there in Yellowstone 3D. Keep
Behind
going. You
us.
guys go look. Anyway, they came up and introduced themselves, and we thought that was just really neat that somebody would come. We met someone from France out there in the middle of Yellowstone National Park. So on, which would this have been? Wednesday night? Wednesday?
Yeah.
So we had dinner with Cynthia and two of Cynthia's friends, Tom and Carita.
Yes.
And this Shelley and me, and Kevin was sitting over here. He took the picture. And this was at the Buffalo Bar. We decided to go there. Had to get, see, this isn't edited. He's crooked.
I didn't do the pictures.
Dang nabbit. So there's still some more editing that needs to take
There's
place.
your truck.
There's the dirty truck. I went to the car wash
Dude Motel
at the
in
Dude
West
Motel.
Yellowstone.
So apparently the Dude is only used for groups now. You have to be in a group to be able. They only rented a group or a tour at a time. So this is Shelley and Kevin in front of the area referred to as Baker's Hole or the Baker's Hole Campground. This is the point at which Fenn exited when he was a 10-year-old little boy, and he took the. You have to read the preface of Too Far to Walk. He tells a story of going down the river over a 3-day period, starting east of West Yellowstone and taking out his little fishing trip at Baker's Hole. And that's Baker's Hole. And you can see it's a beautiful area. That's the Madison behind us. So, beautiful area. That would have been slightly north and west of West Yellowstone. The following day, I wanted to go get some better pictures of the Madison because the previous day had been gray, and rainy. So we wanted to go back to the Madison, and unfortunately, I didn't get a picture. So unfortunately, we went into the park, and I have one of those senior lifetime passes, so we just wave it at them and drive through, and ran into.
A big whole line of cars that was just sitting there not moving. So, yeah, and we were going about we
moved around 200
sad.
feet in about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But there was this turnaround, a fishing a day use area on the Madison. So we stopped there, and I got the shots of the Madison that I wanted. And there'll be more in the big album. And then we left the park because it literally was not moving.
Yeah.
And again, this was September when the traffic was supposed to be gone. So
yeah. But there was an emergency vehicle that passed us.
Going the other direction, I had to pull over to let him by. Yeah.
Who
So
knows? We just knew we didn't want to sit in that traffic any longer.
we headed south. We went back out through the gate, the west gate, and then headed into Idaho, and then went south into Idaho, back down to Wyoming, kind of roundabout way to get Yellowstone. And we came eventually to the Tetons, and we made the pass to Jackson Hole through the Tetons. I got more experience this trip on mountain pass driving, 10% grades, hairpin turns in Idaho, Wyoming, and Colorado. I feel like mountain passes, man. I can do them. So, as mentioned earlier, we did stay in Lander a night at the Shoshone Rose, which is the hotel that's on the reservation. And the next day we headed out. And one of the things I wanted to do was get a picture of the little Paposia, or as Fenn says, the Popo Eggie.
Which is what it looks like.
Which is what it looks like. I was going to say, people that pass by this sign go, look, it's the little Popo Eggie River. It isn't, and honestly, I pronounced Popo Eggie until I made the mistake of pronouncing it the last time we were in Lander, and of course I was corrected. But that's the little Popo Eggie River down below the mountains. As it goes south, there's actually 3. There's the North Fork, the Middle Fork, and the Little Popo. So I thought I'd get a picture on behalf of Mr. Fenn. So this was our last day of travel, and this was at the Florissant Fossil Beds National Monument. And again, beautifully appointed. It's a several-hour drive from Bernalillo, but I'm going to go back up there. It's just too cool. These fossil beds were formed after a volcanic explosion 34 million years ago, and it happened so quickly that everything just kind of was scrunched and then pushed down into the mud. So it is. I bought the book actually. I'll show it to you one of these days. It is one of the finest collection of fossilized insects, flora, and fauna in the world. Who knew? So this was just an example. Okay, turning That's one of the big redwood trees that were fossilized. There were 30 of them at some point, but people absconded with them. That's the visitor center. Nice visitor center. Shelley's giving me the hurry up sign. This was the view from the place that we stayed the last 2 nights we were traveling. And it was just...
It was a full moon that night. It was very cool.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Bright full moon.
I woke up at at 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was so bright and so clear, I thought morning had arrived. Like, oh, time to get up. And then I realized, no, that was just the brightness of the full moon. So, okay. So that's the short version of the...
That was the short version?
The short version of the unedited 600 plus photos that... Oh, okay, let me get out of here. 600 plus photos that we picked up while we were there. So as you can tell, we had a great time. So I think... Do you want to read some emails first, or do you want to go straight to phone calls?
We better go to phone calls. I mean, you can read emails in between if somebody doesn't call right away.
Okay. So I'm going to open up the phone lines. I have some text messages. Got a couple of text messages. But let's open up the phone lines because I'm sure you guys have questions. And we'd like to answer those questions. And in between, if we don't get calls, then I will read some of the emails. But one last reminder for those of you that weren't here earlier. If you, after this video is published tonight, come back, make a comment, and next Wednesday we will use commentpicker.com to pick one of the comments, and you will have a choice of a Yellowstone gold coin or the Forever Yellowstone teddy bear. Okay? You have to pick one or the other, not both. And then we'll have that giveaway. We'll have that drawing.
They all want to know about Montana. Why did you pick Montana?
Oh.
Did you turn the phone on yet?
No. All right. So here's what I'll do. If you have questions, I have answers. Phone lines are open, 866-597-9901. If you want me to call you, send me a text message to that number and tell me to call you, and I'll call you. And that way you don't have to wait until...
So do you want to tell them about Montana?
So...
They all seem to be asking.
Okay. So I had a lot of time to think about Fenn's treasure hunt as I was driving those 2,400 miles.
Oh, telephone.
All right, here we go. Oops, I wasn't connected. Hold on. Telephone. Hold on just a second. I've got to get this connected to the board. I didn't connect it to the soundboard. Hold on. Don't go away. Don't go away. Let me connect it to the soundboard. Hold on. This usually does it automatically. That's what... Okay, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from? And what are your questions?
My name is Ed from Colorado, and I have a question. Is it okay to do a question about the search?
Sure, anything. That's how we do our calls.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Hey, real quick, I was going to tell you, I was up in Metis. A lot of the places you guys went, I've been this summer. As far as the conquistador in the Metis museum,
yeah,
they had no information on it. I thought that was weird.
You know, we've heard that before, and that's why we want to kind of to check it out. We've heard. Now, you've got to remember that this story, that Fenn tells the story as if it happened yesterday, but it happened a long time ago, and my expectation is that the transitions that have occurred just over time, they might have just put it in the back room someplace and forgotten about it. But we have heard that same thing, that there have been other people who have visited Metis, had gone to the museum, like you, like us, it wasn't open, and that when you talk about the conquistador, they have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I thought it was strange. There's also a little tiny restaurant inside of a garage where they repair cars. Her husband repairs cars. She runs a restaurant.
Right.
And she's a granddaughter of the gentleman that ran the Blvd. The Blvd ranch.
Ranch.
Up close to, up by Kerwin.
Right.
And I was talking to her about it too for about 45 minutes. And she had never heard the story either.
Yeah.
Just, I thought it was strange that people that had such a lineage there had no
idea.
information about it.
We have heard that, and the only thing we can imagine is that Fenn had the story, told the story, but perhaps, the issue is Meeteetse is a hard name to forget once you learn it, right? So the only other thing that we could think is it wasn't Meeteetse. You couldn't. That's too elegant and intricate a story to have made up, that far.
Right.
So.
Either way, that was just FYI. I did the same thing you did. I went to the museum and I was lucky they were open.
Yeah.
And I searched and searched and searched. I couldn't find anything, and so.
Yeah.
And then I poked around town and went to the chocolate place next door, and I did everything there, but I just thought it was strange that nobody had heard of it.
Yeah, well,
my question for you.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say you could do everything there in an hour.
Probably.
Right. Yeah. No. The lady across the street that had just opened an ice cream shop. She saw me going to the chocolatier and she started waving me over. She's like, "No, come see this. Come see this." And so, yeah, neat little town though.
Yeah.
And we enjoyed Kerwin. We enjoyed Thermopylae. A lot of the places you guys went, it's funny because my wife and I were actually listening to one of your radio shows.
Mm-hmm.
We were listening to it on YouTube as we pulled into the other little town with the cheese wheels. And literally, as you guys were talking about cheese wheels, we saw Lander. Yeah, as you were talking about it, we saw the cheese wheel sign. I'm like, "Surely?" I'm like, "No, I better not."
I don't know that it's not the kind of place that if somebody said, "Do you recommend them?" I'm going, if you do it as an experience exclusive of the dietary issues that are going to arise, yeah, do it. But yeah.
When in Rome.
Yeah, when in Rome. Right.
Anyway, I did have an actual question for you.
Okay, go ahead.
And I was going to see if maybe... So, I was reading something. I've really been trying not to listen to anything outside of the poem and Fenn's story and stuff like that when I come to conclusions. One of the things that I think I heard him say was that you shouldn't have to translate anything to get to the conclusion. And so I'm looking at an area, and I keep coming up with Lahara, or Jara, J-A-R-A, which means home in Spanish. Should we, and I'm assuming that I'm not the first person that said this, should we not translate?
So, in the poem, what he says about the poem is that the clues in the poem represent a physical space. He also says things like you shouldn't have to translate. So if you could make the connection between a metaphor in the poem and a place on a map called Lahara, I don't see how that requires translation, right? Because we're
translating from English to Spanish.
Right. But there are a lot of people who believe that there's a place in Yellowstone or in the area of Yellowstone called Ojo Caliente. Ojo Caliente translates to hot waters. But a lot of people believe that that's the beginning of where warm waters halt. So although I don't necessarily know that could be counted as a translation.
Oh, I've made that mistake too.
Yeah. So I don't think, I think if you were to be pointed to a Spanish text and you started having to translate, I think that's what he's talking about. The Spanish locations, each state in the 4 treasure states, you will find a book of locations. And in New Mexico, half the locations are in Spanish. In Colorado, 30% of the locations are in Spanish. In Wyoming, there's locations in Spanish. So I don't know how you could ignore the fact that there are locations on our maps whose names were given as a result of the first explorers that reached there, including Spanish, French, English, and sometimes Meeteetse is not an English word. It's a Native American word. So I don't know how you could
It's a Native
discount it.
American word.
I don't know how you could discount that.
Okay.
All right?
That was my question. Again, I saw it the other day, and like I said, I try to stay off not the blogs, but like the Facebook groups and stuff like that, because everybody has. You get lost in it like a rabbit hole if you start listening to different people's theories. Not that they're wrong, just that you can get lost in it. And I found myself like tromping through, Wyoming.
Yeah.
Looking at different things and this and that, and it was like we're just spinning our head around. And then we went down to New Mexico, and we had a really good search day, but it started to make sense.
Right.
And the spot that we're looking at, we want to go do a boots in the ground here, I think, tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
The spot that I'm looking at really makes sense. So,
well, call us back on Friday and let us call us back on Friday and let us know how you did.
Oh, I will. Yeah,
right.
No, we've really enjoyed it. And we enjoy your guys' show. We really do enjoy it a lot. My wife likes when Shelly wears the Heart of the Ocean necklace.
It is a pretty necklace, isn't it? It is a pretty necklace. I agree with you.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much for taking the call. And I just had that question because everything keeps coming back.
Yeah.
Hara. And
yeah.
I'm like, God, he said don't translate. But,
I don't know necessarily that I'd count it as translation when it's the name of the place. Right?
Okay. Good enough. And that was just my only thought. So we're heading out in the morning, and we'll stop by when we get it.
We look forward to it. We'll take pictures. How's that?
Good enough.
All right, sir.
Take care. Thank you.
My pleasure. You have a good evening.
Bye.
And best wishes to your wife as well. Okay. I don't know how I got out of the GoDaddy. All right. Phone lines are open. If you have a call in, have a question or a comment. Okay, so let me address some of the issues that we want to talk about. Number one of the things that I discovered on this trip is that I have never actually looked for Fenn's treasure. Because the implication of that statement, I'm looking for Fenn's treasure, means that I have solved all the clues and now I'm just in that last spot wherever the blaze is or whatever, and I'm looking for the treasure. In what is now 34 boots on the ground, the only time I have actually looked for Fenn's treasure is the first boots on the ground along the Rio Rancho with my son Jason, and you all guys know that story. The other times, I was never looking for the treasure. I was just looking for the next clue that I hadn't figured out at that point. So it's funny when you think about it that I've never actually, except in one case, I was so convinced it was my first solution. It's the solution that we all get when I read the book. I know where it is. We're going up there this weekend. Jason, let's go. Right? That was literally, I did the same thing that every other news searcher does. Went looking for it. That was the only time I've ever hunted for Fenn's treasure. Now, I've been in the Cimarron since then. I've been in the Rio Grande before he said not to be in the Rio Grande. I've been in Browns Canyon. I've been in Sinks Canyon. Where else have we been? Rio de los Pinos.
Rio de los Pinos.
Rio de los Pinos, right? And in none of those cases was I looking for a treasure of any kind, much less Fenn's. I was looking for the next clue or the next thing that told me that I was in the right location. So it's kind of funny to realize that. And that was the realization I had this last time. So that was the first thing. The second thing was, I guess I should answer the question of what happened. Why am I now researching? I'm not going to say searching. I'm not searching for Fenn's treasure. I'm not going to say I'm searching for Fenn's treasure in Montana. I am researching Montana for the potential, the possibility that Fenn's treasure may be located there, right? And here's what happened. We were in West Yellowstone, and two things happened while we were there. The first thing that happened is I wanted to go into all the fishing stores because I wanted to get... Hold on, I've got to stand up here for a sec. When you're fishing New Mexico, you don't fish with streamers. And the reason is our waters just aren't big enough. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to get some of these streamers that those guys that fish the big waters up north have, because they're just beautiful. These are all hand tied, right? They're tied by
This one here.
they're tied by someone who literally takes all these different objects. You can see there's a hook underneath that, and they tie these. Oops, phone call. I'll finish the story in just a minute. Hey, you've reached Toby and Shelley. What's your name? Where are you calling from? And what's your question?
Hello, it's Mike Hool, and I'm phoning from Japan.
Wow.
What?
And I have a question.
How did you get to call from Japan?
Yeah, well, Skype.
Oh, okay. All right. That works.
It's practically free.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see. So I have a question related to what I left you on your
Comments.
previous video introducing. Yeah. And it's a question to which you initially answered yes, and then went and edited your answer to no.
Right.
Which made me think that there's some interesting thinking going on behind that.
Right.
The question was basically whether or not you would agree that that Montana salt relative to New Mexico salt would be more difficult for Forrest to have arranged or prepared the site for hiding the treasure, given the fewer opportunities to actually make the trip up. And that would this goes beyond what I actually wrote in the comment.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering whether or not your search strategies, the way you prepare your searches and what it is that you look for in the field, whether you would see them as being different in Montana than they were for you in New Mexico.
That's a heck of a good question, Michael. So the answer is I don't know yet, but I will by the next trip I make up there. Now, I'm confident enough in my first two clues, in the rationalization of the first two clues, that it deserves a trip back up there, right? But I'm at the point now where I was with a lot of other of these searchers, in that I don't have any validation that the clues 3 through 9 are in the location that I think has potential, right? And a couple of things have changed, right? Not only has the state changed, but the definition of warm water salt has changed. There's no warm water fishing regulations that I can rely on in Montana. The other conclusion I came to, that in order to make this work, that you've heard us always say that the treasure or the distance between clues 1 and 9 is less than 1,000 feet. And the new rationale for the new theory for Montana is that the distance between clues 3 and 9 is 1,000 feet. And that I still haven't figured out what the distance between clues 1 and 3, right? So there are going to be some differences in terms of search strategies, just because in order to make it work based on the information that I acquired, the open source intelligence that I collected there, it's a different search strategy. It's a completely different search strategy.
But those sorts of differences, those sorts of variations, you can find them from place to place within New Mexico or place to place within Montana. I'm talking about the sorts of differences that there would be at the site where you might think the chest would be.
Right.
And what sorts of limits you go to, or what extent you go to in actually trying to verify, is the treasure right at this spot or is the treasure right at that spot? So my view is that the closer that Forrest is at home, the more trips he could make. And the more trips he could make to prepare the spot, the more intricate or devious the hiding of the treasure could have been. So, for instance, if he could only make a couple of trips every once in a while to a particular location, it doesn't give him time to construct an underground concrete bunker within which the treasure lay, for instance. But if he were to hide it in his backyard, not that I'm suggesting he ever would, he would have had all the time in the world to come up with a very elaborate hiding mechanism.
Right.
And so the closer he is from home, the more difficult it could be to retrieve the treasure, even if you knew where the spot was.
Right.
And I'm wondering how that factors into your search strategy, if you considered that at all.
So in terms, I have considered it, but I have never, in my own theory, in my own imagination, I have never imagined that the resting place of the chest is complex. I believe it is completely natural, and that it was a matter of placing it within that natural context rather than preparing it for the arrival of the chest. I believe that the difference between when he first saw that location, when he first identified it as his special place, to the time that he actually placed the treasure there in that location, there was minimal preparation. That's my theory.
Okay. Yeah. So something like that then wouldn't affect, there would be no difference essentially between New Mexico and Montana if you make that assumption in advance.
That's correct.
But I think searching as far north as Montana would rule out these solutions where people are convinced, let's say, that the treasure chest is buried, 3 meters underground, like some of the giant holes that have been just dug in New Mexico. It affects certain types of salt. In any case.
So here's
right.
Let me address that.
Ahead.
Let me address that particular idea. So one of the things that I'm researching in is we know that Fenn was in the Yellowstone, the Cody and the Yellowstone area regularly, right? It's 90 minutes from Cody to West Yellowstone. We know that he was there regularly, every summer, sometimes more often than that, and sometimes for extended length of times. So if there's a chance, and I don't know this, it's the research that I have to do. If there's a chance that Fenn was in and around the Cody, West Yellowstone area in 2009 and or 2010, and he was there from 3 to 7 days. I think 3 days is probably the minimum. I had an email today from a person who said, how could he have left home? Fenn has never said he left home to find the treasure. So he left someplace, right? And if he was driving up to these,
of course.
If he was driving to West Yellowstone, he would eliminate all the white paper trail. If he was staying in his, the Dude or wherever, he'd have all that paper trail gone. So it takes, once you make this decision, once you suggest the idea that Fenn hid the treasure someplace other than New Mexico, then you have to figure out how he got it there, right? And that's where I'm at. That's why it's 25% confidence or 25% probability, because the 75% probability in New Mexico makes it an easy solution.
I think that your earlier videos on why the treasure was hidden in New Mexico, I'm not saying that everybody agrees with it, but in my opinion, it's one of the best videos that you've ever made because of the thoroughness that the two of you went in listing or enumerating the reasons why it's likely to be there. It would be really interesting to see a follow-up video from the two of you stating your new position and contrasting that with the points that you originally made. Well, it would be interesting to see that evolution, which points you still keep and which points have evolved.
Right.
And the implications, relative implications between the two.
I think we owe the community at least that, but I will qualify that by saying we are at this time totally unprepared. In just a few minutes, I'm going to explain to everybody in the room what happened that caused me to move away from 100% absolutely in New Mexico to this works.
Okay, looking forward to hearing that.
Okay. So, Michael,
thank you, Toby.
Michael, thank you for going all the way to the trouble of calling in. We love hearing from you.
It was lots of fun. Okay.
Talk to you later.
Glad to have you back.
It's good to be back. Thanks.
Bye.
Okay, so I'm going to turn the phone lines off for just a second because I want to explain to you, and I can't give you all the details because then it sounds like I'm misleading you. So we've been accused so far of stealing ideas from other people and not using other people's idea or not paying attention to other people. So I want you to know we don't steal other people's ideas. You've heard our ideas. They're pretty original. I was, if not the first, one of the first that was looking at the New Mexico fishing regulations, Rio de los Pinos, etc. We don't steal other ideas. And honestly, we don't have time. We get 3 to 5 emails a night from people wanting to share their solution. I'm going to play some audio, some voicemails where people are saying, I want to meet with you so I can share my solution and would like your opinion on it. That happened to us a number of times just in our travels this last couple of weeks, right? So we don't take other people's ideas. We've done our own research from 2013, and we've shared that research with everybody in the community through our videos. So this is another one of those instances. I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. We were not searching or researching on our trip. And I'm going to make the distinction because searching is on boots on the ground looking for the treasure, or at least looking for the next clue, because that's all I've ever been. Like I said, I concluded after all this time that I've never actually looked for Fenn's treasure. I've looked for places that would look like I could find the next clue, right? Because the closest I ever came was my first Rio Chamasalf, where I literally sent Jason across a river, the swollen Rio Chama, to look on an island because I knew the treasure was under a log there, right? So that's it. The other times where there was the Cimarron, the Rio Grande, the Rio de los Pinos, Browns Canyon, Sinks Canyon, whatever. I wasn't looking for Fenn's treasure. 34 trips, and only one of them I could say I was actually looking for treasure. The other times I was just researching, right? Yeah, let me address this, Jack. Funny that when you go out of New Mexico and look a little, now you get a little excited. Before this, you poo-pooed people looking outside New Mexico. We don't poo-poo anybody. Right.
Got the poo-poo bladder.
If we poo-pooed everybody, we wouldn't have this show and we wouldn't have you call in. I listen as much as I can, very politely, ask some questions, and you can tell. We meet people all the time who want us to tell their story about where they're searching. All we can say is, good hunt. Our treasures in New Mexico. It's not a poo-poo. It's just that's as far as our research is extended. So, and that's one of the criticisms I want to belay.
We have said that, or I have said that, and it's been teasing.
Yeah.
So we'll just leave it at that.
All right. So phone is off. So let me get this point out so I can get the phone back on because I've got to leave at exactly 9 o'clock because my daughter is flying into town. One of my daughters is flying into town, and I got to pick her up at the airport. So here's the deal. We were taking our vacation. We didn't have our research equipment. We didn't have anything that we're making notes. Nothing. We just had the stuff that you go on vacation with, and we wanted to see a lot of places. We actually didn't have time for it. When I was in West Yellowstone, I wanted to go into some of the trout fishing shops to get some of these beautiful streamers that we don't see here in New Mexico because the rivers aren't big enough and the fish aren't big enough. I wish you could see some of these hooks on here. I mean, these are size 8, 6, and 8 hooks. You tried to do this with a trout in New Mexico, and they would look at you like you're nuts. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to get some of these beautiful ones, and I want to take pictures of them, and then I want to put the pictures on my wall.
Hey, Fenn Fanatic in Phoenix. First time watching. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. Subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. So I wanted to get these. I wanted to get one that was made from a jungle cock cape feathers, and nobody had them. And as a matter of fact, one of the guys in one of the stores kind of laughed and he said, "Hey, we haven't seen those in years." And I'm thinking to myself, Fenn has 200 of them. Why don't you buy them from him? Anyway, so in one of these stores, and yes, there's one of these fishing stores. They're sporting goods stores, but focusing on trout fishing. And they were all crowded. There's a bunch of trout fishermen talking the language, picking flies, talking about where they were going that day, et cetera, et cetera. There was a map on the wall, and the map was made by the Montana Department of Game, Fish, and Parks. And it was published in 2008. And it had something on the map that tickled my fancy. I don't know how else to describe it.
Because it's got feathers.
Because it's got feathers.
And hooks.
It provided a surprising connection to the first two clues. And I've always kind of been a fan of the little girl in India idea that she could see the first two clues on a map in India, but then she'd have to be boots on the ground. So this was eye-opening to me. So later on in the day, I ended up speaking to a Montana Department of Game, Fish, and Parks ranger. And we had a funny little conversation because he knew what I was talking about. He knew I was talking about the Fenn Treasure, and he'd giggle about it, So I tried to validate a couple of things with him. And the combination of the clue, I don't want to say clue, the intelligence that was on that map and the open source intelligence that I collected from that ranger indicated to me there was a possibility that somewhere west of Yellowstone National Park, there is a possibility that Fenn could have placed that treasure. Now, it blew a whole other lot of things because as I looked, and I didn't have a lot, still haven't had a lot of time to research this any further, but it was enough for me to say, that's possible. And it's not tied to the Montana fishing regulations. It was actually a Montana fishing map. It was an old Montana fishing map, but as I was going right through it, there it was. Now, I'm not going to share that with you. You're going to have to do the research on your own. But it was enough for me to say, well, why don't I do this? Why don't I not look in New Mexico? I'm not searching in New Mexico because I've run out of ideas in New Mexico, but here's a new idea. And I've never stopped researching this treasure. I've stopped going out in the field because like I said, don't know where it is, don't know what my clues are. But this was enough to stimulate the idea that it would be worth researching this over the winter and then making a trip back up there next summer. I have made tentative, how do I say this? I have made tentative reservations for 2-week-long trips to the Montana area next summer. And I imagine that's where the three of us will take our vacation, right? Then I'll probably make at least one trip. I may make one trip by myself first and then go back up there for vacation because there's still some things we'd like to see up there, and I still want to fish those waters. So that's where it's all at, okay? Pow. That's what happened. So,
what do you call a fish without an eye? Thrilling Chase wants to know.
I don't know.
I don't know. There's blind fish.
A blind fish?
They are at the bottom of the ocean. And they can't see.
Okay, so phone lines are now open. I got about 5 or 6 of these beautiful streamers, and I'm actually going to photograph them with my macro camera.
It's like a kitten.
And I'm going to make prints.
Meow.
Yeah, you don't want to let your kitten play with that because these are they barbed?
They got hooks.
They're all barbed. A lot of the fishing waters are catch and release. But I don't know whether you can see this in the light. It sparkles. It's actually just a piece of art. But I had always wanted to make some photographs of some of these and then put the photographs, enlarge them and put them up on my wall in various rooms. And so I wanted to get those, and that's what led me into these various trout fishing stores, and that's where I saw the map.
All right. So did you cover the Montana and the little girl in India thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was the most
I am
important
confident
stuff,
that in my Montana theory, I have identified where warm waters halt. I believe I have the precise location where warm waters halt, and I have the canyon down. And now that I look at it, when I saw it, I realized I could have done that from my home. I didn't have to be in Montana to do that, right? So what I don't have is anything else. Okay? So there.
I like it. That's
What's
fish without an eye.
Oh. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Fish without an eye. Okay, phone lines are open. We have about, I'm going to say 15 minutes because I'm really going to try and finish this up so I can get out of here at 9 because she's, as I said, she's flying in from Dallas. She's on business in Dallas, and she's coming to visit for the weekend. So
Don't want her sitting.
Jack, yes. I would
Like
say
waiting.
north and west. I would
Baggage
say
claim.
west, northwest of West Yellowstone. Yeah. But I don't know the distances right now. I have concluded that the distance between 3 and 9 is still under 1,000 feet. What I don't know is that distance between 1 and 3.
Must be 6.
Must be
It's the only missing number.
Yeah. Okay, phone lines are open. We got time for a couple more calls, I think. If you have any questions or if you have any information that you'd like to share with the community.
So phone lines are open. We didn't play any videos tonight. We were trying to get through all this stuff.
Yeah,
But
we had a lot to
will be back
get
to
done.
playing our videos and reading our emails on Friday for Fandango. So be there for that.
So these are several flies that I bought for good luck at the West Yellowstone store. They had a great selection as well. As a matter of fact, when you see our album, you'll see some of these. And these are just some traditional New Mexico flies, Royal Coachman and a bunch of nymphs, Copper John and nymphs for... Hey, you reached Toby and Shelley. What's your name? Where are you calling from? And what's your question? No.
Hello.
Hello. No, hear you.
Hola.
Could be breathing. At least he's not breathing hard. Okay, hang up. Phone lines are still open. So couldn't get that to work. Try again. If anybody has...
Phone number is 866-597-9901. For those of you who are new and didn't know, you can call us and ask us questions live on the air.
Okay, he's trying again. Let's see. Another try. Here we go. Hey, you've reached Toby and Shelley. What's your name? Where are you calling from? And what's your question?
Hey, Toby, Shelley, this is John Warner speaking.
Hey, John. How are you doing?
I'm doing very good.
Good
How's
to hear.
the audio sound?
Very good. The audio sounds great.
Yeah, good. Hey, glad to see you guys are back in the search, so that's good.
Well,
Good news.
so let me qualify that. We're actively researching. I wouldn't say we're back in the search quite yet. We're actively researching. And I'm not at the stage where I will present my data, my information to Shelley and Kevin to convince them. So it's kind of one-sided right now, but that's only because I need to do some more work.
Hey, so, the little girl in India stirred up some questions the other day when you made the announcement on your first video here when you came back. So there's some people that never heard of the little girl from India story.
Do you need a pen?
I thought maybe you could elaborate on that in a minute.
Yeah.
But I just want to say, and I have a thought on that little girl from India. Fenn, I think, kind of has fun with that girl from India.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean his comment that he said along with that, where there's a lot of disabled people that also are part of the search, but he knows they can never go out and actually physically look for it. So they can't get further than maybe the first two clues as well as this girl from India.
Right.
So my thought on it is, I don't think, even though like thousands, hundreds of thousands of other people that find the first two clues, Warm Water, Salt Canyon Down, they can't get any further because they have the wrong Warm Water Salt. And he never says the girl from India found the right warm water salt. He says there's thousands of warm water salts out there, right?
Well,
so I think that's a big misconception that everyone has, that she actually found the right one.
She didn't. Now you have to. So there may be a confusion. So I made a video in which I contacted an old friend from India who had a daughter who I challenged to find the search area, and she found the Rio de los Pinos because on a map it looks pretty obvious to someone. But Fenn. So you got to remember how this came about. It was Jenny Kyle who said, if there was a little girl in India and she had access to the poem and a good map, could she find the treasure? And Fenn's response was very brief. I don't remember specifically what it was, but it was something like she couldn't go beyond, or she couldn't go beyond the first two clues, something like that.
Yeah,
Right.
she couldn't get closer.
She couldn't get closer, right, than the first two clues.
Than the first two clues.
Right.
Right.
And that's pretty clear. Now there's one other way to flip that, and he could have written in a different grammar. The closest she could get is the first two clues, right? Any way you look at it.
But
the little girl in
really,
India.
Everyone who has ever searched has gotten those two. We just got the wrong ones. We're not going to know we have the right one until we find the chest. So he could say that about everyone. I think everyone makes this assumption that this smart little girl from India figured it out with just the poem and the map. And find the first
what the little girl in India did is what I just did. That is, she looked for a place where warm waters halt, followed by a canyon down. That's all I've got.
Right.
I have no sense. Right. I don't have any more sense that I'm in the right location than I did when I was searching RDLP, Cimarron, Rio. Right. So she was just doing the same thing that I just did. I don't know that my theory is right any more than the little girl in India was right. What I discovered was what she discovered. There was a place on the map where warm waters halted, and followed by a canyon down. That's all I've got.
I just think we give that little girl too much credit.
It's interesting to me that we give her any credit at all. But when you think about it, Fenn made it very clear that you can look at a map, and if you have the right map, you can get those first two clues, but then you have to be boots on the ground. I think that's the point he was making. I think we focus on the little girl in India first two clues. The point he was making is you can't get any closer to that treasure until your boots on the ground. Right. And that's how I've always interpreted that statement. You can't get closer than the first two clues.
And if you find the word that's key, then, I guess then it all kind of blends together and makes sense of it a little bit.
Well,
obviously she didn't find the word that's key either, so her warm water salt is just as, wrong as the rest of us.
Yeah. I think what you have to do is look for a place where you can specifically, one of the things that we've always said, if you don't have a geographically exact location for your warm water salt, there's a good chance you don't have the warm water salt, but that's our opinion.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, so I just wanted to just touch on that and to say hello to the community and glad to have you guys back.
Well, we're glad that you called, John, and give our best to your wonderful better half.
Yeah, we'll do. Take care, guys.
All right. Have a good evening. Okay, we may have time for one more.
We should play the little girl from in India.
Yeah, we got a little girl from India. We got a little girl from India. Let's play the little girl from India video since we got. I bet you she never knew how popular she was going to get in life. No, that does not prove your theory. The little girl in India only had a map. It's a theory. I can't prove a theory, right? It's a theory, Denise. It's simply that. I'm not proving a theory. It's a theory, right? When I find the treasure, then it becomes a fact. Until then, it's all theory, and I don't have to prove it to anyone but myself. Passed the first two clues because she only has a map of the Rocky Mountains, map with all the states.
I don't believe it said that.
Yeah,
it didn't say that. It just said a map. It wasn't specific in that particular posting.
Denise says you're using false reasoning about the little girl from India. There is no proof of your conjecture. her not getting past the first two clues. You have to be. First of all, it's not my conjecture. Fenn told us she can't get closer than the first two clues.
Little girl from
what
India says,
exactly
I
does that-
have the first two clues. Just need an airline ticket now.
There you go. I don't know how else you interpret that. Hey, you've reached Toby and Shelley. What's your name? Where are you calling from? And what's your question?
This is Logan Pettyjohn. I'm calling from Austin, Texas.
Okay, wow.
And my question is about... What's that?
Go ahead. I just like the combination of the name and the fact that you're calling from Austin, Texas. That sounds like Logan Pettyjohn sounds like a very Austin, Texas name.
Right on, yeah. So I was wondering about when Fenn said the treasure is not associated with the graveyard. Do y'all take that to mean that none of the clues are associated with the graveyard, or just the treasure?
I think that's a question that has been asked very often. I think the purpose of saying that the treasure is not associated with the graveyard is that people had been digging up graveyards, and the same thing happened with outhouses. So anytime he's always said that the treasure is not associated with a physical structure, not associated with an outhouse, not associated with a graveyard. You can interpret that in one of two ways. One, he's talking about the treasure itself. He wouldn't want the treasure underneath the outhouse. He wouldn't want people digging up cemeteries or his backyard. But I think if you look at the clues that preceded it, if you find yourself searching through a graveyard to get to clues 1 through 8 before you got to the treasure, it doesn't make any sense either. I think you can assume that his special place wasn't a place where there was a lot of human evidence of humans, cemeteries, outhouses, graveyards, dams, etc., etc.
Caves, mines.
Yeah.
Okay, so it wouldn't be a spot along the way to the treasure.
Even
if it's nowhere close.
Look, I can only give you my opinion on the matter, right? I don't know for certain. My opinion on the matter is that Fenn, it doesn't seem to me as the kind of person that would spend 15 years writing a poem containing 9 clues, of which some of the clues were man-made or man-influenced objects like graveyards, outhouses, dams, etc.
I gotcha. I just can't seem to get the Vietnam Veterans War Memorial out of my head. For some reason, that just, I don't know, it just seems like it comes up for me. But
yeah, it's a beautiful memorial.
I appreciate, definitely. All right, well, I appreciate y'all's input.
My pleasure. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the phone lines because we're going to have to start getting ready. Okay?
Yep.
So, Friday night, we've got a bunch of emails that we still...
I did get Zoe the Cat for October and Jack for September. If I missed anybody who wants to be on the Rooster roster, let me know on Friday, and we'll read that off Friday.
By the way, one of the mountain passes that we were going to was closed before we got there because of snow. They're already receiving snow up there in the north part. Okay, what was I going to say? All right, so we've got a bunch of emails, we've got a bunch of voicemails that we didn't process tonight. We'll process those on Friday and get back to kind of a normal schedule because, we've probably ridden this horse to death.
Picture albums are where?
The picture albums are not yet available, but they will be once I've completed the editing. They will be on our Facebook page. Facebook Gypsy Kiss group.
And if you want to participate in the drawing for the bear and the coin, make sure you make a comment.
Bear or the coin.
Bear or the coin. Didn't I say that?
No, you said bear and the coin.
Oh, if you want to participate in the drawing for the bear or the coin, make sure you make a comment in the video after it's processed and up on YouTube in the comment box below the video.
Bear. I don't think I can do this. Bear. Okay.
Over here. Here's the camera.
Holding coin. Okay. Coin, bear. You can have one or the other if you win. And the way to win is to put a comment in below this video, not in the chat. Okay. Chats don't count. Okay.
Thank you guys for being here this evening, for checking out our photos and hanging in with us tonight on our new search information. I don't know. We'll see you again Friday night for Friday Fandango. And don't forget to check out The Softer Side. We had some great video today, and we got another one on Friday at 4 o'clock. So I hope you check that out. And for Gypsy's Kiss, I'm Shelley Carney.
And I'm Toby Eunice. Thanks for joining us tonight. We will see you again Friday night at 7 p.m. for a 2-hour show. And remember, mark it on your calendars, Saturday, September 28th, the Cal Lazarus K-Pro Marathon. And we will be on in the 7 o'clock hour and won't have the defenses of being able to block you so you can ask weird-ass questions.
And we'll touch each other inappropriately.
And some unappropriate touching. Yeah, we didn't get any unappropriate touching tonight. And we got a new outro for you tonight.
All right, check it out. This song's just too long.
I'll shorten it up.